Welcome to Discover Indie Film. I'm Jeff Howard, and I have on Zoom with me Michael Glover Smith coming to us from Chicago. Hey, Michael.
Hey, Jeff. How's it going?
It's going great, and I really appreciate you hopping on. Like I said, you're in Chicago, I'm in Los Angeles, so we're on Zoom. So if you're listening to this and you're not super happy with the audio quality, hey, we're doing our best. It's Zoom. So blame the Zoom Corporation for compressing our audio. But needless to say, this is going to be Michael answering. Well, first, let me introduce you as the writer-director of Handle with Care, which was at the Sherman Oaks Film Festival in 2024, where I got to meet you for the first time. And Handle with Care is an excellent short film. You took home the Programmer's Prize for exceptional filmmaking, and well-deserved, because it's an exceptional film. I like that we have a title like exceptional filmmaking, because I admittedly am one of those people who doesn't think awards should be called best picture. It should be like really fucking good picture.
Right. Exactly.
Because there's no best painting, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, that's a little soapbox that I will jump off of. So Michael and I just had a great chat. It was a great interview. And the podcast before this one, you can learn all about Michael and his work. So listen to the podcast before this one. For that, I highly recommend it. And I highly recommend, and we will have a clickable link in the show notes for people to watch Handle with Care. But this podcast, you answer those 4 questions, which are really just a fun way to spark conversation about film. Just asking you to name 3 favorites, name a film you feel is underrated, a film you feel is overrated, and a lesser-known film that people should seek out. And I'm actually gonna prejudge you a little and assume that am I right that you're not the type who would want to call something overrated, or am I wrong?
No, I call things overrated all the time.
All right. I didn't know if you were going to shift into film professor mode and say, well, all art is valid. Excellent. I don't have to give you the overrated, not necessarily an insult. All right. Yeah. Feel free. You want to, I have a clue what you might name, but I'm just going to let you have it. You want to name 3 films that you love?
Yeah. So I wrote down the first 3 titles that popped into my mind. And the first one, we're going to go in chronological order here. The first one is Man with a Movie Camera by Dziga Vertov from 1929. It's, in my opinion, the most cinematic film ever made. It's kind of the ultimate movie. It's about a day in the life of a Soviet city in the late 1920s, but it's also a film about filmmaking, as the title indicates, because you see the cinematographer in the film shooting the film. You also see the editor in the film editing the film. So it kind of has its own making of, doc built into it. And there was no script. There are no actors. There were no sets. It's a silent film, and there are no intertitles. It's nothing but images. And it's kind of an experiment, in the language of cinema, in which the director, Dziga Vertov, is kind of trying to divorce cinema from the other arts. He doesn't want to rely on acting, which he associates with the theater. He doesn't want to rely on plot, which he associates with literature. And I love silent movies. I think there's something just kind of poetic about all silent films, even those that are, even those that aren't very good, because it's pure visual storytelling. And for me, Man with the Movie Camera is just the ultimate silent film, and therefore the ultimate film.
Agreed. It is great. And I'll share something in light. I hope this makes you as happy as it makes me. A young person who was in, I think, our first or second festival ever, named their production company Man with a Cam as a homage to that film. So the young people are discovering it too, which is probably due to teachers like yourself. But
I show it in class every semester.
Wonderful. All right. Well, what's next?
Next is The Awful Truth by Leo McCarey from 1937. This is a screwball comedy with Cary Grant and Irene Dunn. And I think it's one of the funniest movies ever made. The premise is absolutely irresistible. It's about a married couple who decide to get divorced at the very beginning of the film because they are suspicious that their partners are unfaithful. So as a result, during the 60-day window of time where they are separated, waiting for the divorce to become final, they both start dating other people. But because they're still in love, they try and sabotage each other's new relationships. And it's just a wonderful romantic comedy, and it has the greatest dog performance of all time. They have a little Jack Russell Terrier that they call Mr. Smith, and he's played by Skippy the dog, who was also Asta in the Thin Man series. But I think his performance in The Awful Truth is his finest.
Well, excellent. And I got to admit, I don't think I've seen it.
Check it out. It's very funny, very romantic. You know, Cary Grant's at his...
From the golden era where a leading man like Cary Grant could do a drama, and he could do a drama and a screwball comedy like in the same year. Yeah,
exactly.
It was a wonderful time.
The man from Dream City, as Pauline Kael said.
Wow, yeah. And handsome as heck.
Yeah, exactly.
And I believe his name was Archie Leach in real life. I think he was.
That is correct.
Yeah. I only learned that from John Cleese because he named his character in A Fish Called Wanda Archie Leach.
Yep, that's right.
Right. You get a third?
Okay, my third and final one is Cleo from 5 to 7 by the great Agnes Varda. I think the French New Wave is the film movement that's had the biggest influence on my own life and career. And so that's the film that I chose from that particular era. It's 1962. It's about it's told in real time, which is very interesting. There aren't many films in the entire history of cinema that have tried to do that, but it's about a young woman who is waiting on the results of a test that will tell her whether or not she has cancer. And it's about everything she does in the 90 minutes leading up to her doctor's appointment. And so it's a marvel because it begins at 5 p.m. It ends at 6:30. The film is 90 minutes long, and yet she travels all over Paris during this time. She covers a lot of ground, and the camera is always with her. Nothing is cut out. And that makes the film more gripping to watch instead of less. I mean, normally we think of editing as being, cutting out the boring bits, but in this film, it's more exciting because we see everything that happens.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay. I haven't seen it, and based on everything you described, and I do love French cinema. There's so much of it, it's hard to stay abreast, but
right.
But excellent. So cool. All right. Question number 2 is a film you feel is underrated.
Okay. The first thing that popped into my mind is something super recent. Hitman by Richard Linklater from last year. It premiered at the Venice Film Festival, and then Netflix bought it and barely released it. This is a romantic comedy thriller starring Glenn Powell, and I had a blast. I was fortunate to see it on the big screen. Netflix, of course, did dump it in theaters for, I think, 1 week before they made it available to stream. So I was fortunate to see it opening night at the Alamo Drafthouse, and it was a sold-out screening. And people were clapping and laughing really hard during the climactic scene, which I will not give away. But it's a scene involving the use of cell phones. And I was so impressed by how he was able to kind of blend together comedy, romance, and suspense, and to use phones in order to generate suspense in a way that I just never seen before. I'm a big Linklater fan. I think he's one of the great American filmmakers of recent decades, but he's kind of become critically unfashionable in the past decade or so. After Boyhood, which was his greatest critical success, it seemed like there was a backlash, and he's never really been appreciated the way he was before that. But I've always been on the Linklater train, and I think Hitman is a wonderful film.
I'm with you on the Linklater train for sure. I mean, considering, I was around when Dazed and Confused first hit and whatnot,
Yep.
and everything he's done since then has always been interesting. Always interesting. So, yeah, but I guess that's we won't jump. I won't allow myself to jump into a discussion of what it's like now in the streaming era when a streaming service grabs a film and then their algorithm tells them that it's not picking up in the first day and a half, so let's put other films up above it. People would rather watch well, I guess that was not but there was a great Soderbergh film that got buried because Tiger King became huge.
Right.
And it was like, there really is like amazing films just disappear on screen.
It's sad.
If the algorithm doesn't make it show up when you open Netflix, if it's not on that opening, screen where one thing is passing another. Yeah. So painful. All right. Well, that's a great one. Now, overrated.
Okay, well, I know.
Feel free to name more than one if you want.
I know this is going to make some friends of mine unhappy, but a film I really disliked, another recent one from last year, was The Brutalist by Brady Corbet. 3.5 hours long, including an intermission, and I hated it. What can I tell you, Jeff? I thought that here is a film that is being taken seriously because it insists on its significance. It contains all of the signposts of great art, of great cinema. It's really long. It's got an intermission. It has scenes in Hungarian with English subtitles. It deals with themes, the big themes. It's about heroin addiction. It's about immigration. It's got a rape scene in it.
Yeah, it's post World War II.
Heavy. Yeah.
Hints of World War II, I assume.
The Holocaust, yes. It's got the Holocaust in it. And,
they even use Adrian Brody from The Pianist, and the title's almost like The Pianist. I don't mean to pile on. I must admit, we get 800 films submitted to Sherman Oaks and 700 submitted to Film Invasion. So I get out to the movies. I don't see all the nominees.
Well, see it for yourself and decide. But, I think Adrian Brody won a second Oscar for the same performance. I was rooting for Timothée Chalamet for A Complete Unknown. And, it was not.
And it's nothing against Adrian Brody, right?
No, he's a fine
actor. One of our great actors.
Yeah,
that guy,
he's a great actor.
I will even say that I even enjoyed him in that Alien versus Predator nonsense. I thought he was like a soldier, and I was like, wow, he's pulling it off.
Exactly.
Skinny guy from New York is actually who's a great actor, is actually pretty good killing aliens and predators. Who knew? Or I think he was just running from, I forget, but all right, fair enough. The Brutalist. And it's funny, now that the Academy is nominating 9 to 10 films a year, it's really expanding this overrated category.
Yeah, exactly. There's the 4 or 5 good ones that you should watch, and then there's, the quality drops off.
Well, the funny thing is that they did it allegedly to add more quality, but they really are just not sure if they still want to throw in, a blockbuster here and there. I don't know. I don't know. I can't figure it out. All right. Well, if you want to move on to finally a lesser known film for people to seek out, that's the last question.
Yeah, I was really excited by this prompt because I immediately thought of a movie called Girlfriends, an American independent film from 1978, directed by a woman named Claudia Weil. And this is now part of the Criterion collection. I had never heard of it until Criterion put it out on Blu-ray a few years ago. And it's a really beautiful character study about a young Jewish woman living in New York City in the late 70s who is an aspiring photographer. And it's about her relationship with her roommate. And more specifically, the kind of emotional loss she feels when her roommate decides to move out because she wants to get married to her boyfriend, and how she kind of grieves, the end of their relationship as roommates and best friends. But it's a comedy, having said all that. And it's very funny. And when it ended, I burst into tears, not because it's sad, but because it's so emotionally honest. And I think it's, to give you a point of reference, it's kind of like the original version of something like Francis Ha, the Noah Baumbach film that he made with Greta Gerwig, in the sense that it's about, a young woman kind of living in the big city, trying to make it as an artist and kind of confused about life and love and art. But as a filmmaker myself living in Chicago, I don't think I've ever seen a more truthful portrayal of what it's like to be an artist, living in a shitty apartment in the big city. And so, it just went straight to my heart, and I try and, tell everyone to see this movie.
Oh, excellent. I have to say, I have to give two quick takes, which one is, I assume you might tell most of your film school students to get a Criterion subscription.
Absolutely.
Because the collection there is just amazing. Yeah, and a film like this that could have disappeared in the modern era of no video stores, no nothing. So yeah, thank goodness Criterion rescues it. And I already forgot the second comment. Oh well. But that was I'm looking at it now, and it's talk about a cast too.
Yeah, Eli Wallach is it?
Eli Wallach, Bob Balaban, Christopher Guest. Yes,
and it's a very low budget film. It was funded, by grants. I think it was done in the low six figures, and just a marvel of true independent filmmaking.
Well, excellent. All right, well, we got all four done. Based on your comment, I feel like offering you one more overrated if you want it, but you don't have to take it.
There's nothing at the top of my mind.
I do always get a kick out of, whatever. I won't name my favorite. Okay, so anyway, let me wrap us up then.
All right.
We will have a clickable link in the show notes for your Instagram where people can follow you and your work. And I will recommend again that people watch Handle with Care and everything else you've done. And I assume Paper Planes is out there, right? Is it on?
Paper Planes is also available through Split Tooth Media. So yeah. I will send you links to both that and Handle with Care, because Paper Planes on the Split Tooth site comes with an interview with Alyssa, and Handle with Care comes with an interview with me.
Very cool. I like these Split Tooth people. There you go. Even if I just had dental work done, and the idea of a split tooth is kind of scary. But anyway, jokes aside, let me wrap us up. So thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you, Michael, for taking the time.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I would gladly do it again.
Well, I love having repeat guests. In general, it's when you come back with another film. So, just make some more movies. That's all. Small ask.
Will do.
Or who knows? Maybe I'll watch some. I'll be able to maybe we'll watch a feature and then I'll send you an email and go, okay, let's talk about this feature now. But anyway, I will wrap us up. Thank you everyone for listening. Like and subscribe, write a review if you're extra kind. If you want to learn more about this podcast or TV series that was born out of it, just go to discoverindiefilm.com. On social media, it's always at DIFwins. You can interact with it on Facebook and Instagram. If you go to at DIFwins on Blue Sky, you get me. You get the podcast producer, Karina, on the others. I met Michael finally last December at the Sherman Oaks Film Festival, where we showed Handle with Care. Wrapped up your film festival run. If people want to learn more about, so that festival, the Sherman Oaks Film Festival and its sister festival, Filmvasion Los Angeles, are both run by the Discover Indie Film Foundation. So go to discoverindiefilm.org for information about that. For each festival individually, Sherman Oaks Film Festival is shermanoaksff.com, and it's at Sherman Oaks FF on social media. 10th anniversary is coming this December. And Film Invasion Los Angeles is filminvasionla.com and at Film Invasion LA on social media. 10th anniversary is coming in June. And finally, there will be a Film Invasion in Lima, Peru in January 2026. So keep your eyes on that, everyone. We can all go to Peru for the winter. All right, Michael, and I forget the kitty cat on your lap's name.
Her name is Hetty.
Hetty. Oh, I think Hetty Lamar.
Exactly.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for listening.